Good morning. It's Thursday morning, and we're almost finished with our second week here. Hope you're doing well and trying to stay busy. I'm looking at teaching set number four today, MD4, and it gets into having to interpret your line plot and look at the information on your line plot to be able to answer some real world problems. So that's what we're going to do today. There are two line plots here with 3 questions each. So let's get into that today, and then you guys will be on your way with your student set. So here we go. A student measured how much rain fell each week. This line plot shows the amount of rain in inches that fell each week. So it looks like we're starting at the 2, and again this is inches. So 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches. And the line plot, each hole is cut up into fourths. So we're looking at fourths. How much more, I'm going to circle those important key words there. How much more rain in inches was there during the week with the greatest amount of rain than during the week with the least amount of rain? Okay, so we're looking at 2 1/4 and 4. So 4, how much more than? We're looking at take away, subtraction. So 4 take away 2 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the line plot to show you one way that you can do this. So again, your subtraction, you're going to start at the 4. Because it's on a whole number, this is probably the easiest way to do it. So 4, take away, there's 1 whole, so that's 1. Now we're going to count to fourths. So 1 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So 1 3/4 equals 1 3/4. The other way, let me switch how I'm writing this for you. The other way you can do it is taking and stacking. You can stack it. So 4, take away 1 3/4. Sorry, it's not 1 3/4, 1 1. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. That was our answer. Start over. 4, take away 2 1/4. So we cannot take 1/4 away from nothing. So we're going to have to borrow. So cross off that 4. That's going to leave a 3. And we're in fourths. So to make that a whole, it would be 4/4. So 4. We're just looking at the numerator now. The denominator stays the same. So 4 take away 1 is 3/4. And 3 take away 2 is 1 3/4. So that's how you solve it if you're stacking it. Okay? Number 2. So the answer, 1 3/4. What was the combined amount? Combined amount, which means you're going to add amount of rainfall for the 3 days with the greatest amount of rainfall. Okay, so the 3 days, the greatest amount of rainfall would be the 4 and the 3 3/4. So here's 3 2/4, 3 3/4, and there's 2 of those combined. So we're going to add. So we're going to add our 4 and plus 3 3/4 plus 3 3/4. Okay, there's not a lot of room here, so I'm going to move up to here, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and stack this again, so you can see how to stack. So 4, line up the whole numbers, 3 3/4, and 3 3/4. We're going to add those together. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6/4. But notice that's an improper fraction. So we're going to take 1 whole out of that because we're working in fourths. Our whole is going to be 4/4. So if I take away 4 from the 6, that is going to leave 2/4. And I carry the 1. So I took my 4/4 out of the 6. 6 take away 4. That's going to be my 1 whole, 4/4, but I wrote it just as 1. So 1 plus 4 is 5. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 2/4. I want you to start to recognize that 2/4 is also equal to 1/2. So this is going to equal 11 and 1/2 inches. Number 3. Using only the days that he measured with less than 3 inches of rain, what is the total amount of water he measured on those days? Less than 3, so we're going to go to our 3. Here's one at 3, but it's saying less than 3, so we don't count this one. So it looks like we're looking at these 3 x's here. So one of them is 2 and 2/4. I'll go over here. 2 and 2/4. And 2 and 1/4. And we have 2 of those. So 2 and 1/4. 2 and 1/4. We're going to add those up. 2, 3, 4. Just looking at the numerators. So 2, 3, 4. 4/4. But when the denominator and numerator are equal, that is a whole. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to carry it over. Okay, so now our 4/4 goes up to our whole numbers. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 7. So that would be 7 inches. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second one here. I'm going to fold this back so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay. Oh, just kidding. I want to be able to see the words though. Okay, here we go. 6 students were asked how much time they spent watching cartoons on Saturday morning. The line plot below shows the amount of time they spent watching cartoons. So we are going to take and look at our line plot. Sorry, I'm having issues this morning. I don't know why. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. 6 students were asked how much time they spent watching cartoons on Saturday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 X's there. The first question is, how much more time in hours was the longest time than the shortest time? There's one of those, how much more than. So we're going to subtract the shortest from the longest. So the shortest was, notice it starts on 2. So 2, and then how many sections in between here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're working with fourths. So 2 and 1 2/4. So 2 and 2/4 was the smallest. And the largest was 3 and 1 2/4. So 3 and 2/4. Now that one is actually pretty easy. We could look at that one. If we stack it over here, 3 and 2/4 minus 2 and 2/4. 2/4 take away 2/4, 0. 3 take away 2 is 1. So that equals 1. That one was pretty easy. Using only the hours more than 3, what is the total number of hours that the 2 children watched cartoons. So total number of the numbers more than 3. So here's 3. We don't want to count 3 because that's not more than 3. That's equal to 3. So we're going to take these 2. So 3 and 1/4. And 3 and 2/4. So there's 1 2/4. 3 and 2/4. So if we add those 2 up, add the numerators only. 1 plus 2 is 3. Denominator stays the same. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 and 3/4 is your answer there. And then the last one, number 3, what is the combined amount of hours for the 3 students who watched the least? So 3 students who watched the least. So I'm going to go to the 3 X's that are the smallest. So 1, 2, 3. It looks like these 3. So that's 2 and 1/2. Let's do it over here. 2 and 2/4. And again, combined means we're going to add 2 and 2/4. Do that twice. 2 and 2/4. And 1, 2, 3/4. 2 and 3/4. So we're going to add those up. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7/4. But notice the numerator is greater than the denominator, so that is an improper fraction. We can take 1 whole out of that. So we match it to the denominator, so 4/4. If we take 4/4 out of this, 7 take away 4 is 3. So this is going to leave 3. 7 take away 4 is 3. And it carries the 1 over. So 2, 4, 6, 7 and 3/4. 7 and 3/4 is the combined total of hours for the 3 students who watched the least amount of hours. So that is your ND teaching set number 4. So you will now go to your student set number 4, and it has 2. It looks like there's 2 there for you. Actually, nope. 1, 2, and then I did back side. So you should have 2 on the front, 2 on the back. There's the back. There's the front. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do those. Let me know if you have any questions. Take a picture, send it back to me. Also, make sure you guys are getting on Prodigy. I put up a new assignment for you for this week. It's comparing fractions. Remember, you can do the x multiplying the denominator and the numerator to the other one to see what, so which one's greater. I'll show you real quick, just as a reminder. So 10 20th and 15 20, okay, 24th. So those are big numbers. So you're going to cross multiply like this. So which one's greater? So 24 times 10 is 240. 20 times 15, if you can't do that one just in your brain, remember you can do your area model. This is a good reminder for your area model. 20 plus 0 and 10 plus 5. 20 times 10. 2 times 1 is 2, and there's 1, 2 zeros. This is going to be 0. 0 times 10 is 0. 5 times 20. So 5 times 2 is 10 with a 0. 500. So then 100, I mean. 5 times 0 is 0. Add those up. 200 plus 100 is 300. So which one's greater? This one's greater. So you would put the sign in like that. So if you get a chance, get onto Prodigy and do some Prodigy this week. And I will put up another assignment in Prodigy next week. probably working on some more fractions. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.